Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today we will be doing this week we will be doing a replacing my screen time with reading challenge. And those are my kitties being rambunctious as always. So if you haven't seen this type of video before, the premise is pretty simple, just taking my screen time from last week. And each day you can see how many hours you're on your phone each day, and then I'm going to be reading correspondingly this week. Sorry, the kitties have come back in to be rambunctious. My screen time has been really high lately. Yeah, you can see them. It's been really high lately, so I want to turn it into something more productive. So here we are. So today's Sunday, and my reading time for Sunday, I'll put the little screenshot here, is 4 hours and 5 minutes. So I did actually start this morning. I'm trying to every morning to read a chapter of The Sixth Extinction. This is a science book I've been reading about the sixth mass extinction. So I read a chapter this morning that took like 30 minutes. So you will have seen those clips before this intro. So I still have like 3 hours and 35 minutes-ish. And the book I will be reading today and probably into tomorrow is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I'm about 50 pages in, but it is you see him? His head? No, I can't. There. Okay, here he's gone. They're crazy today. Anyways, I'm about 50 pages in. This is, and I have, I think, 400. It's 418, so I have just under 400 pages left. But it is a reread, so I don't have to, be reading all the nitty-gritties. I can speed through a little bit. So I'm probably going to finish this tomorrow, would be my guess. But yes, Crown of Midnight, this is the second or third book in Throne of Glass, depends on how you read that series. And then I don't have a TBR for the rest of the video. I'm just gonna read what I feel like. So let's keep going on my reading for the day. Oh, we do have a house showing today, or like an open house from 2 to 5. So I can't be in the house, and I'll be in the car with all the kitties. So that's 3 hours. I'm probably planning to get most of my reading done during then, because I go and sit at a place where there's no Wi-Fi or service, so I can't do anything on my phone anyways. So okay, let's go. Hello, I have finished my reading for the day. I'm probably going to read more before I go to bed, but I finished the time. So, and I am under 100 pages. I'm like 50 pages from the end of Crown of Midnight. So I probably will finish this one tonight. And then I'll decide tomorrow when I'm starting. But I also want to show you I got the crafty bug, okay? I've been in a crafty mood. And I have painted the edge of this book. It's Court of Winter, which I have 2 copies of, so I felt safe. Like 2 of the exact same copies. So I figured this would be, if I make a mistake, then it's fine. So, but yeah, it's just a little snowflake. I was gonna do more snowflakes, but this one's kind of ugly. And the more you do, the more obvious it is that they're ugly. So I just I'll just do one. And then these are my dad's clamps, and he cut plastic for me so I can clamp it. So I'm letting it dry for a couple hours, and then we will see if it actually worked. But yes. And then for tomorrow, I have 6 hours and 16 minutes of reading. Here's my screenshot of that screen time. Oops. I told you it's been really bad because I don't know anyone here. I have no friends in Georgia. So when I'm not at work, I'm like either reading or on my phone doing something. And then here and there, like applying to jobs and stuff. But though, to be fair, last Monday, I was on my phone for like an hour and a half at work because I was training. I was just there to train. So I literally was just writing it down, everything that she told me on my phone for an hour and a half straight. To be fair. But yes, I don't want to read Heir of Fire next. I want to read Heir of Fire next, but I shouldn't because I work at a bookstore, so I need to be making sure I'm reading some other books. And my goal was only 2 Throne of Glass books a month, so I can like be reading other things. So I really shouldn't read Heir of Fire until June, but we'll see. But it's definitely not gonna be the next book I read. But I will start tomorrow morning with a chapter of The Sixth Extinction, as I've been trying to do. So, anyways, that's my little update for y'all. Bye! Okay, hi guys. I don't think I've talked to you at all today, but I have started and finished a book and still have 12 minutes left of my timer. So this morning I read a chapter of The Sixth Extinction, as I've been doing, and then I went to work, and then I came back from work, and for today it's 6 hours and 16 minutes, so I've been reading for probably 6 hours. And I have started and finished The Ballad of Never After. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I loved it so much more than the first one. The first one was like a 4-star read for me. 5-star. 5-star. I'm deeply emotionally traumatized from this book. Yeah. Not a ton I can say, so I don't spoil it. But traumatizing. Really, honestly. I'm unwell. It was so good. And I love Evangeline and I love Jax so much. And so much happened in this book. And I'm not over it. But that's about all I can tell you on this one. And then I'm going to try to refrain from reading the last book in the series in this video, or at least for a couple days, because I don't want this to be like it would essentially make this a series reading vlog, like reading this series. So I'm going to try to refrain, but my need may win over because I need to know what happens. But the next book I'm going to start today for the next 12 minutes that I have on my timer. Oh, I never told you I finished Crown of Midnight last night. And my cat just walked in. I had 50 pages left when my timer ended yesterday, and I was like, I'm just going to finish it. So I did finish Crown of Midnight yesterday. 5-star. It's a reread, obviously. I love Throne of Glass. I do. Okay. Now the book I'm going to read for the next 12 minutes, and if I want to read more, I'm debating if I read more, like setting a stopwatch, so that if there is a day where I can't meet the intended time, and maybe like my extra reading from previous days will add up to it. I didn't do that for Throne of Glass, but today, or Crown of Midnight, but today if I read more, I will probably do it. But I'm going to be reading, it's called Dark Fae. This is the first book in Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, I believe. I think this is, so if you've seen some of my previous videos, I'm working on reading the Zodiac Academy series, and I'm doing the recommended reading order, which is like the first 3 books in Zodiac Academy, then all the Ruthless Boys books, and then the rest of the Zodiac, and then Darkmoor Penitentiary, I think. Or I'm mixing this one up with Darkmoor Penitentiary, I don't know. But this is book 1 in Ruthless Boys, probably. It's called Dark Fae. I don't know anything about this one at all. I have actually read up through book 5 in Zodiac Academy on my Kindle months ago, but now I wanted to restart them with physical books. So I don't know anything about this at all. Just that it's still set in Solaria, and that's all I know. So, absolutely no clue what to expect here. And we shall see. Will I read it for 12 minutes, and then probably, it's late. It's only, well, not late, it's 9. So, I might just read it until bed. But I'm gonna go. Bye. Hi guys, so as you saw in that last clip, I went outside to read, because it's the next day, by the way. I went outside to read, and I was out there for like, I don't know, 10 pages, and the biggest, scariest hornet of my life, it was like red, I don't even know, came flying right at my face, and I literally got up and ran away screaming. So I'm not going back outside, which is probably a good thing, because I was outside for 10 pages and my face already looks sunburned. But I'm already almost done with this book, actually. I read an extra hour last night, and that got me to page like 130 or something, and I'm on page 418, and there's 505-ish pages in this book. So I think my timer's upstairs, but I think I have 2 hours left. So I'm gonna finish this book today, in this time. I'm not enjoying it as much as Zodiac Academy, but it does have more plot. I feel like plot's a vague word to use for these authors. There's more of a, like, I feel like in Zodiac Academy there was just like no plot. Just the Vega twins went to Solaria and learned to live there, and that was it. This one, there's like a murder, so there's like actually something we're working towards in the first book, at least. The first book of Zodiac Academy, there was just the twins trying to survive the errors, and that was it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on working to read through this, and I will probably update you guys when I'm done, and whatever book I decide to read next. Hi guys, so it's a little bit later. I have finished Dark Fae, which means I finished Tuesday's reading hours. Now, if I remember correctly, I actually never told you how much I had to read today. But it was 4 hours and 58 minutes, I believe. But I'll post a little thing here. So that's how much I had to read today. I still actually have an hour left. But I finished Dark Fae, which is the first book in Ruthless Boys. I don't love it as much as I love Zodiac Academy. They're both not great. But it's something about Zodiac Academy I'm like so enthralled with that it's like a 5-star every time, even though it's really not. This one, I don't know. I don't really care for it. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. But we'll have to see. There's still 4 more books in the series that I have to read. I did. So I have now gathered that this is probably the reverse harem. I think that's the proper term. And not normally my kind of thing. But I have to be honest, the scene where they all tried to ask her to prom sort of at the same time was really funny to me. I have to be honest, I did indeed love that scene. But basically this book follows Elise, and she is trying to avenge her brother's death. He supposedly died from an overdose, but she doesn't believe it, so she goes to the academy he was going to, and she thinks it has to do with one of the 4 kings of the academy, which is Dante, Leon, Riker? No. Riker is just like a name I've read in a bunch of books lately, so I want it to be, but I don't think it's Riker. What is his name? Maybe it's Riker, maybe I am. I don't know. And Gabriel. And there's like 2 rival gangs. Why does he not have a chapter? Let me see what his name is. But there's 2 rival gangs, and Dante and maybe Riker, if that's his name, are like the lead gang members at the schools. If you can tell, I don't normally read mafia romances because I don't know what they're called. Gang leaders. Anyways, and that's about it. This first book is just kind of her coming to the academy and getting mixed up with all these guys. So there's that. Now I need to pick what I'm reading next. And Wendell is playing right there, so if you hear dingly jingly noises, that's him. And I think what he really wants me to do is throw that. He loves playing catch. Okay, so now I need to pick the next book that I'm going to be reading after this one, which I'm not sure because the only thing on my TBR for the month was A Curse for True Love. But like I said, I'm trying not to read that in this video. Sorry, I told you he loves to play catch. I'm trying not to read that in this video, so this isn't like a series reading vlog. So, I'm looking at my TBR, or my physical TBR, all the books that I have not read that I own. You guys probably heard that. That was probably really loud. I do have Alone with You in the Ether, which I have been interested in reading. I honestly don't remember anything about it, but it was really popular and I got picked up by a traditional publisher. No, it's indie published. It was originally indie published. It's really short. It's 270. Oh no, that's one for my enemy. That's bonus content. It is 262 pages. They're just like pretty dense. But I think this might be what I'm reading. But like I said, I still have an hour left and I'm probably not going to start reading right now. I'm going to update my reading journal. So I may change my mind, but as of this current moment in time, this is my next read. Sorry, Wendell is still playing on the floor. But yes, I will talk to you when I talk to you, hopefully, once I finish the hour today so I can get you prepared for what I have to read tomorrow, which I don't know how many hours it is, but yeah, let's do stuff. I don't know. Hello guys, it is Wednesday. I've not done any reading yet and it's almost 2 o'clock. Oops. But here's today's little screenshot and it's going to be 4 hours and 20 minutes today, I believe. Like I said, I haven't done any reading, so I still need to read my chapter of The Sixth Extinction. And then I'm still working through Alone with You in the Ether. I only got about 50 pages in yesterday. It's a bit of a pretentious-y styled book. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it, but I am only 50 pages in, so I'm not going to make too many judgments on it yet because we haven't even gotten to the thick of it. So that's basically it. Just want to give you a little update of what I had to read today and where I'm at with this book. And then The Sixth Extinction, this is how far I'm in. I think I have like 8 chapters left, so I'm probably not going to finish it in this video because I'm doing a chapter a day. And I only have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days left for this video. So, but yeah, there's my little update. I'm going to maybe start reading. Maybe I'll put it off until tonight when I definitely shouldn't put it off that late because it's a timed reading challenge. But that's how that's gonna go. I'll see y'all when I have an update. We have another house showing today, so I'm back in the car with the kitties. This one's only a showing, not an open house, so it should only be 30 minutes to an hour instead of 3 hours. So, gonna read, and the kitties are gonna run around and be obnoxious. So, let's do this. Hi guys, so it's Thursday now, it's the next day, and I may or may not have read the full time yesterday. Oh, Wendell. Please don't do that. Wendell's eating his scratching post behind me. So I think I was about an hour and a half shy, which, if you remember, I read an extra hour and a half previously, so we're ignoring that I didn't read the whole thing yesterday. But after the house showing, I have like this cut thing and it was getting infected, so I ran to urgent care to get an antibiotic, and I was there for like 2 hours because it's urgent care. So yeah, but I'm fine. It wasn't actually a major thing. But here's the timer thing for this today. I think it's 4 hours and 38 minutes, but I can't remember. I read a couple chapters of this already this morning. This is the Sixth Extinction, and I'm gonna go sit outside in the sun for a little bit, but I don't really want to annotate or anything, so I'm gonna leave Alone with You in the Ether inside, and I'm gonna bring this one outside to read because I'm not tabbing it or anything. Thank you, Wendell. He's eating it again. So yeah, I'm gonna go sit outside, keep reading, hopefully get a tan. I don't know. That's all. Okay, hi guys, it is a Friday morning, and I finished my reading yesterday at about 11:30, but I did finish Alone with You in the Ether about 1 minute before my timer went off. So here she is. I'll put the dust jacket back on. I liked the indie published version more, I think. I don't know. Something about this edition feels kind of, I don't know. I just like the simplicity of the indie published one. But okay, Alone with You in the Ether, I have finished it. I really still don't know what I think about this book. Like, I really liked it, but at the same time I didn't. So I'm gonna think on my thoughts on it and give them to you at the end with my little wrap up of what I read, because I don't know how I felt. I really enjoyed the writing, I think, and I don't know, but I will tell you more then. Yes. And then today here's my little thing. Today is 4 hours and 27 minutes, if I'm correct. And I'm going to be reading Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. This is the second book I'll have read from Lucy Foley. The first one was The Guest List, I believe. Hi, Wendell. Hello. Wendell's there's a little crack in the door right there. Wendell snuck his head in it. But I don't really know what this one's about. I've worked at an indie bookstore, as I said, and we're supposed to be reading like outside of our usual genre, so that's why I read The Guest List last month, and then like our resident thriller enthusiast. Okay, well, Wendell is using a scratching post right now, as he always chooses to do while I'm filming. But a resident thriller enthusiast recommended this one as her favorite Lucy Foley, and my mom already owns all these, so I figured I'd read this one. So this is the goal for today. It is 350 pages, but Lucy Foley's writing, at least from the one book I've read, is pretty fast paced, so hopefully I can finish this one all today. But we shall see. We have another house showing today, so there will be more car reading. Alrighty. And this one will be faster because I'm not annotating it either, because it's not my book. Anyways, let's get this readathon. Nope, not a readathon today. Reading hours started. Hello guys, I thought I'd come give you a little update on the Midnight Feast. I am about an hour and a half in. I have just under 3 hours left, whatever that means. And I am 120 or so pages into the Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. It's feeling a lot like The Guest List, which is the other book of hers that I have read. Like, really, really similar. Like, it's the same plot structure, all of it, where, like, you're following a bunch of different, in this case, and in the case of The Guest List, different guests in the planner, or the organizer, or the owner. You're following a bunch of individual in their short chapters, and then interspersed throughout these short chapters, you also have, like, set 2 days in the future, there's a body. And that's, like, how it is. That's how this one is. That's how The Guest List is. They're just feeling very, very similar to me, and I'm not minding it. But if this is how all Lucy Foley books are, I feel like I'd be over it eventually, right? Like, don't you get sick of the same exact format? I don't know. And maybe it just is. These are so similar because The Guest List was on this island, and it was a wedding, and there were all these people staying in this new, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, this, like, new, it's not a hotel that they were staying in, but essentially, and this is the same thing, there are all these guests, and it's not a wedding, it's a wellness retreat, but it's new, it's people's first time being there, everyone's staying there, there's water, it's like an island, like, the vibe is exactly the same, but I feel like I'm piecing things together faster in this book, which makes me think that I'm wrong. Like, I feel like I piece things together in this so much easier than I did in The Guest List, that there's got to be a plot twist somewhere from what I'm piecing together. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I'm gonna go back to reading. So, yeah. Hello, it is the next day, Saturday, which is also the final day, but I can update you that during my time yesterday, I have finished The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. It is exactly what I was explaining to you. It's the exact same plot structure. Like, I know there's all plot structures are, like, technically pretty much the same, but, like, identical, truly. I didn't totally mind it for this one, but like I said, I feel like I would get sick of it if all of her books were in that exact format, and this one just felt so similar to The Guest List, other than, like, there was, like, a little bit of, like, ooh, mythical, the birds, but the birds are not birds, but I don't know, I'll probably give it 4 stars, which is what I gave The Guest List. I don't know which one I like more, I don't know, but yeah, I finished it kind of late last night. My timer went off like 5 minutes later, so I just read a little bit of The Sixth Extinction, but there she is, all done. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. Now it's Saturday. I do have work today. My cat's trying to come in. I have work today, but I do still have 4 hours and 37 minutes. Oh, and they're in. And so is the spring. Close that. Just because laundry's running, so it's loud. But I have 4 hours and 37 minutes left today. Wanda, could you be any louder with that spring, truly? So I think I'm just going to try and finish The Sixth Extinction today, and then we will see what I will read after I finish this one, because I know a lot, because it's a science book, a lot at the end of it is, like, not real words to read, it's like notes and an index. I have this much left to read, so it's not going to take me 4 hours and 37 minutes, and then I'll figure out what I want to read after. But I have work today, like I was saying, from 10 to 5. So all my reading will probably be happening after, because I need to get ready and eat something and all that jazz. So, yeah, I will see you much, much later today. Hi, friends. I survived work. Work ended at 5, and then there was some Memorial Day event. It's not Memorial Day, but it's Memorial Weekend, I suppose, downtown where I work. So me and my family went to that. So it's now like 7:30, almost 8. So I will not be reading all 4 hours and 27 something for another minute. Please hold, my cat would like to leave the room. because I also have work tomorrow, and dude, what? Okay, you just wanted to look. And I have work tomorrow, and I value my sleep. Thank you, kind sir. So I'll be reading until I finish The Sixth Extinction. And then I bought this book at work. It is My Next Breath by Jeremy Renner. This is our Explore the Genre book club's book of the month, and this is on Wednesday, and today's Saturday. So I will be finishing this, reading this until I decide I need to go to bed. So it's definitely not going to be 4 hours and 27 minutes or 4 hours and however long. It's going to be what I feel like. Sorry, but I make the rules. It's my video. And that's that. I'm going to go read now so I can get the most of what I can read. Yeah. Okay, hi guys. Hour and 15 minutes later, I finished The Sixth Extinction. So, that's all I've come here to say. I'll, give you my thoughts and feelings later, because I need to keep reading. Bye. Okay, hi guys. I come to conclude this video before I go to work today, but I, as predicted, did not read the full amount last night, but like I said, my channel, my rules, so I no longer care. But I read about 3 hours and 10 minutes, if I remember correctly, so, and in that time, I finished The Sixth Extinction. My cat is here to cause trouble. Hold, please. You can leave now, Vincent. Goodbye. Boop. Boop. Okay, I finished The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert. This is a science book about each chapter kind of centers around a species, and it follows the idea of us going through a major sixth extinction in the Anthropocene, which is the human era, essentially. I don't really know the proper, it's a geologically based, not just oh, there's humans, so it's the Anthropocene. But I'm sure none of you care that much about me explaining that. So I thought it was really interesting. I believe this was actually published 10 years ago. Yeah, this is the 10th anniversary edition with a new epilogue, or an extended epilogue. And I feel like the epilogue itself was so much more eye-opening than the rest of the book. I feel like it wasn't as much about a mass extinction as much as it was about extinction. So, I don't really know, but it was still very interesting to read, and I had a fun time with it. Elizabeth Kolbert is a journalist, and it was following her as she went through all of these expeditions, essentially. She went to the Natural History Museum, and she went, I think it was Peru maybe, and was looking at the amphibians there, and she spent time in a zoo working with a rhino, and there was just a lot of really interesting stuff that she got to do, so it was fun. And then after I finished that, I read, I think, 130 pages of My Next Breath by Jeremy Renner. That's how far in I am. I'm enjoying it. I never rate nonfiction books just because I feel like it's hard to. I feel like, so I watched his documentary. I feel like I might have said that. So I already knew what was happening. Reading about it for some reason is way worse. I had to skip through some of the parts where he's talking about it just because I didn't gory. But I also feel like sometimes he gets on some tangents and he's very he talks a lot about life and the emotions and feelings and things. So that was a bit interesting, and sometimes I'm okay, I get the point. We've gone over this again, and I feel bad because this is a book about him literally dying for a second or two. So I feel bad feeling critical about that, but there's that. So, let's quickly, again, go over all the books that I read in this video. I finished Crown of Midnight. It was a reread. I loved it, obviously. Then, The Ballad of Never After, 5 stars, so many feelings. after I finish My Next Breath, I am immediately starting the last book. I'm feeling so many feels. I love Eva and I love Jax, and it was devastating. That's all. And then Dark Fae, it was fine. Good time. Not all that great. And then Alone with You in the Ether, I still don't really have enough thoughts on it. I have not, it hasn't been, plaguing my thoughts like 5-star reads do after I finish it. So it's definitely not a 5-star. But it was good. I'll probably give it a 4-star. Like I said, the writing was kind of fun and interesting. The characters were a lot, but that was the point. So, yeah. Again, though, I wish I had the indie published paperback edition. I like its format, its color so much more than this one. But whatever. And then I finished The Midnight Feast, another Lucy Foley book. 4 stars. It was fun. Not like my genre, so. And then, as we just talked about, finished The Sixth Extinction. And halfway through My Next Breath. So, I'd call it a very, very successful week of reading. We got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 books. So, fantastic. Anyways, on that note, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you somewhere else on the internet. Bye.